has risen, now it's our turn. Taliban fighters swiftly snatched the banners and tore them up. Shares in the German luxury car maker Porsche have risen on their debut on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, in one of Europe's biggest flotations for years. Despite the current market turmoil, the share exceeded the final listing price, which valued the company at around $75 billion. Porsche's owner Volkswagen said the listing will give the company the funds to accelerate its move towards electrification. The Australian government says the telecoms giant Optus should pay to replace the passports and driver's licences left vulnerable after 10 million customer accounts were hacked this month. The Assistant Treasurer, Stephen Jones, said an error by Optus was responsible for the breach involving 40% of Australia's population, so the Singapore-based firm should bear the financial cost.
Overwhelmingly, this is Optus's mistake. This is Optus's stuff up, and it's up to Optus to rectify the customers. And it's up to Optus to ensure that any cost arising out of this is compensated by Optus and not by the government or other government and the regulators.
And that's the latest BBC World News.
We have reached totality. We have reached the most incredible moment in a total solar eclipse. There is the corona, the sun's faint, thin atmosphere that you can never see usually. You can only see because the moon has now completely eclipsed the sun. This is extraordinary.
The experience of a total solar eclipse, like this one in the Faroe Islands in the North Atlantic in 2015, can be an emotional moment. It's a rare opportunity to focus our attention exclusively on our closest star, something that most of the time many of us barely give a second thought to. And yet, the impact of the sun is enormous. Without it, we and the world around us simply wouldn't exist. Its intense energy and light keeps us alive, though its extreme heat can also cause problems if we get too much of it. The earliest human civilizations were attuned to the sun's daily rhythms in a way that defined work and leisure. And even if today the sun no longer shapes the patterns of daily life to the same extent, how the sun behaves should be of interest to us all. Geomagnetic storms, for instance, can take out whole power networks, damage satellites and disrupt communication lines, the technology on which so many people rely. Hello, I'm Bridget Kendall, and you're listening to The Forum from the BBC World Service. I'm joined today to discuss the sun by two solar physicists and a philosopher. In the United States is Philip Judge, senior scientist at the High Altitude Observatory in Boulder, Colorado. He's written many papers on aspects of solar physics, as well as a book entitled The Sun, a very short introduction. Claire Raftery is a solar physicist and head of education and outreach at the National Solar Observatory, also in Boulder, Colorado. And in Paris, France, is philosopher Emma Karenini. Her book, The Sun, Myths, History and Societies, was published in 2022, and it considers how the sun has shaped philosophy and thought. Welcome to all three of you. And we opened the programme with a BBC recording of a solar eclipse. So I'd like to ask each of you in turn to start with about your own experience of a solar eclipse. Phil, you first.
I've only seen one solar eclipse, and that was the 2017 eclipse over North America called the Great American Eclipse. We were up in above Casper, Wyoming, with a team doing various experiments, and I was simply the guy that was there to shout out timing. And to within the second, when I shouted second contact, the corona appeared. Right at that very moment. Second contact is when the sun is first fully covered by the moon. But I was truly astonished at how bright this thing was, and the crowd we were with spontaneously kind of burst into applause at the beginning and end of the eclipse, and everybody was just absolutely delighted by the whole experience.
Claire, I think you observed
to use those safety glasses. And as a child, I really believed my eyes would melt. So it was a quite hair-raising experience. But the solar eclipse I best remember is the one I read in one of the volumes of the Adventures of Tintin, The Prisoners of the Sun, where Tintin convinces the Incas that he can command the sun because he was able to predict when the solar eclipse would occur. So basically it was more of a fictional experience.
If I can just add to what Emma was saying about viewing the sun safely, I think we are taught from a very young age that you should never look at the sun. But actually, the moment of totality, instead of protecting our eyes with perhaps sun safety glasses or other manufactured things that we can use on the Earth, the moon is actually doing that job for us. So during the peak of a total solar eclipse is the only time that it is actually safe to look directly at the sun, and that's why we are able to see the solar corona. If you try looking at a total solar eclipse with solar eclipse glasses still on, you actually won't see anything. So it's important to know that you can take your glasses off, but only during totality.
Yes, because if you do look at the sun directly with the naked eye, that could lead to permanent damage, so we should stress that. Thank you, all three of you. I must say, I've never seen an eclipse, total or partial. Living here in cloudy England, it's a bit challenging to do that, but you certainly inspired me, and I'll try and see if I possibly can in the future. If we step outside on a sunny day or observe a sunset, for example, the sun in the sky looks to all intents and purposes like a solid object. But Claire, it's not like that at all, is it?
No, the sun is made entirely of gas or plasma. So unlike the rocky planets like Earth or Mars, it doesn't have a solid surface. And what we see as the surface of the sun is a bit like the edge of a cloud or a fog bank. And so if you're approaching a fog bank on a road in your car, for example, you'll be able to see the edge of the bank, but you won't necessarily be able to see through it. And the sun is very similar in that way. And in fact, the sun internally actually rings like a bell. So we're able to use sound waves to investigate what is happening inside of the sun. And that helps us to figure out what the structure internally to the sun is.
Now, Phil, I know that when you give talks to people about the sun who aren't scientists, you like to give a kind of potted autobiography of the sun, as if it were a person speaking.
Our growth numbers, and we still have full confidence within Salesforce. It's the software apps company growth in history. It's growing at an enormous rate, and we're now larger than SAP, so we're incredibly proud of this. And we've got full confidence of our performance in the UK. We continue to invest in the UK. It's the second largest market outside of North America. But of course, I'm acutely aware.
If you can do that for us, it'll perhaps give us a few clues about how the sun came into being.
So, here we go. I was born approximately for
an easy environment to operate within, and we still see, a high demand environment as we partner with our customers to help them navigate through, these challenging times.
Very good point you make there. The backdrop is pretty inflationary. Are customers still as focused on affecting the digital transformation as they have been?
Absolutely. I continue to speak to hundreds of customers. And of course, we had our Dreamforce event last week in San Francisco, which I'm sure we'll come on to in a second. But, I continue to talk to hundreds of customers. These headwinds that are impacting all of them, they're pretty bleak, right? The soaring cost of living, is impacting and making running businesses so much more expensive. And so when we look at some of the way the conversation has shifted, conversations, UK businesses are thinking about, productivity, efficiency gains, very much, speed to value. And so when you look at cloud technology, such as Salesforce, it represents such a compelling solution to enabling some of those automation and efficiency needs. So the digital transformation agenda is very much front and center of UK PLC, of UK businesses. And I can't see that changing, irrespective of the economic environment. It's crucial for survival and long-term, productivity and growth.
So you're not seeing customers dragging their feet in terms of signing contracts, making purchasing decisions?
I think we're seeing a much more thoughtful buying environment, and quite rightly, investments are being scrutinised heavily. Naturally, every customer wants to understand what they're going to get in terms of their return on investment. And you see the buying values have shifted very much from simply growth to now, as I say, productivity, efficiency, innovation, time to value. And so quite rightly, customers are being thoughtful. But as I say, we're still in a very, high demand environment, and we continue to thrive and invest within the UK as we focus on supporting our customers through these times.
Now, you mentioned the company had a big event in San Francisco last week. One thing that caught everyone's attention was that your founder and CEO committed himself to a public operating margin target for the first time. Does that reflect a bit of frustration, do you think, on his part at how the market perceives Salesforce right now?
Not at all. Our shift to focusing on, margin and that commitment we make to the market is a natural course of evolution through our company and our growth. So I think it's very welcome. It's great to have that level of discipline, not a frustration at all. And of course, at Dreamforce, as you mentioned, it was the largest, a very large event. We gathered in San Francisco. We were represented by attendees from over 100 countries. We had 150,000 people, both in person, and online, and it pulled together many of our customers, our partners, and our employees. And it was just so fabulous to see so many UK businesses represented there. I spoke to so many CEOs, and as we talked about earlier, digital transformation still remains at the heart of everybody's agenda.
And how do you assess the mood on the West Coast right now? I mean, there's been a lot of talk about San Francisco reaching bursting point and so forth. Is there still a lot of optimism on the West Coast around US tech?
There is a lot of optimism around US tech, but of course, being Salesforce, we're a global organization. And so our focus is, on our growth and investment, globally, and UK being a huge part of that as we continue to invest. So we see optimism, we see thoughtfulness, we absolutely exercise caution and support for our customers. And, customer success for us is that leads to our success. And that's what we're focused on right now, Ian.
All right, Zara, got to leave it there. Good to see you again this morning. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. See you soon.
Well, still to come here on Ian King Live. We're going to have a look at how global markets are doing this Thursday morning. What a week it's been so far. And there's still 2 days, 1.5 days of trading to go. Stay tuned.
We're ready to do this. Glasgow City Council have said we are ready. Just give us a green light and we are ready to go. We've got a history of, being able to host these massive events. We just did COP26 in November, the biggest world event, one of the biggest world events there'll ever be. Every prime minister, every president, every major politician, celebrities, the lot, all came to Glasgow. We've got our gorgeous Oval Hydro, which you're showing pictures of there. And we've actually got the SECC, which is right next door to it. And they can actually combine together like they did in COP. So they can actually become one big venue as well. Everything there is there for logistics. And also, we've just got the best culture. We've got the best party scene, the hotels, the bars, the restaurants. There's no party like a Glasgow party.
It's the Scouse sense of humour, the Scouse sense of fun, the Scouse sense of music. It's only going to be a matter of time before I mention the Beatles, obviously. And we are in Liverpool, the home of UK music. We are a UNESCO city of music, of course. And I think when time and time again, it's been proven that Liverpool can put on big events. We saw with the Giants, spectacular when they came. The recent Liverpool trophy parades, the whole city comes out to support massive events in Liverpool. But I think really that the thing that brings it most home to Liverpool is it is just the most fun city in the UK. So I just think everyone I've seen on Twitter saying, they basically can't wait to go to Liverpool. The other thing, obviously, it's really important to recognise Ukraine within this bid. And Liverpool is twinned with Odessa in Ukraine, one of the first cities to welcome refugees from the war here as well. There's been, Liverpool is an extraordinarily welcoming city. It's an international city. It's a port city, obviously. And I think all of those things tie in. They've really based the bid around support for Ukraine as well, which I think is really important.
Welcome back. Just got a bit of breaking news to bring you that's reached me in the last couple of moments, which is obviously concerning the mortgage market right now. A lot of pressure on lenders, a lot of lenders withdrawing products from the mortgage market. You might recall this time yesterday that we reported data from MoneyFacts, and they said that 935 mortgage products had been taken off the market between Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, we've just got the latest figures from them. A further 321 residential mortgage products have been withdrawn from the market during the last 24 hours. That has just come to us from the data provider MoneyFacts. Now, you might recall that just under a year ago, we spoke to Avon, the data infrastructure platform that's grown rapidly to become Finland's first unicorn with a value of more than $3 billion. Well, today, the company is joining forces with an open source project called KafkaWise. Well, joining me now is Oskari Saranmaa. He's the co-founder and chief executive of Avon. Oskari, very good to see you again. Talk me through this move and why it's significant for you.
Hey, thanks for having me here. So, KafkaWise is our first acquisition at Avon. I think when we last spoke, I talked about our investment in open source. So Avon is a company built around open source technologies. We make open source software, data technology available for everybody on the cloud as managed cloud services. One of the key projects that we work with is Apache Kafka. And today we're announcing our acquisition of a project related to Apache Kafka to bring more capabilities to our users, but also to invest more into the open source communities and provide more technologies available for everybody to use.
Which is a very, very good point, because one of the things that people say quite often about open source is that businesses don't invest in open source as much as they do. I mean, a lot of it depends on software developers doing things for very little financial return quite often.
Right. So open source is today everywhere. But how open source contributions happen is a bit different across the various members of the community. There are companies that were built around open source technologies, such as Apache Kafka, and who are productizing those and monetizing those projects. But we all also rely on a lot of infrastructure technology that is receiving little love, and that's sometimes showing in issues and vulnerabilities cropping up there, which then take a lot of time to be fixed as there is no steward for those projects around. We look to change this with our approach at Avon. So we are also monetizing open source, but it's very important for us to be able to give back to the communities.
Why is it, do you think, that a lot of businesses use open source software without giving much back, as you say?
Well, open source by its nature is free to use. So what open source software means is that you can study, change, distribute the technology freely without having to license it from anybody or pay anybody for the privilege. So sometimes this leads into people just using and taking the technology without investing into the health of those projects and those communities. I think over the course of the past years, when we've seen cloud services emerge more and more, this has become more and more pronounced, and that's where there's been some friction in the communities.
Do you think that you're going to be able to retain the trust of the open source communities?
Well, that's for sure the plan with us. It's really central to us at Avon, part of our core values, giving back to open source, as everything around Avon was built on top of open source. So when we announced our Series C funding last year, we also announced the creation of our open source program office, which is a team of full-time open source contributors working full-time on those projects with the communities. All of their work is also given back to the community.
You've talked in the past about the tech scene in Finland being particularly collaborative. Could the wider tech scene around the world take a lesson from Finland?
Well, I think if you look to Finland and companies like us, so there's a couple of other startups and scale-ups in Finland of roughly our scale, but we are very collaborative in nature. We don't really consider ourselves to be competing with each other, as we're creating something new. And this is a space where we can learn from each other and help each other. And I think this approach generally applies to a lot of these startups and scale-ups around the world. And open source I think is a great example of this, where communities are coming together to build things that are beneficial to them all and to others outside of us. So I think this kind of a co-opetition is becoming more and more central in the business.
All right, Oscar, we have to leave it there. Good to see you again, and best of luck with the acquisition. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Well, still to come here on Ian King Live, I'm going to be speaking to the Chief Executive of Celadon Pharmaceuticals, the medicinal cannabis company, which has today reported its maiden half-year results. Don't go away.
Beauty and the Geek is officially underway!
Are you flirting with me?
Maybe a little.
I was raised a geek, I'm going to wear it proud.
I was imbued with pure sex. That's what it was. I can't believe I just said that.
But also dimmer, is that right?
So as we move away from the solar surface, which is about 5,000 degrees, we get up into the solar corona, which is significantly hotter than the surface. So the corona, areas of the corona are at standard 1 million degrees, and during large solar eruptions can get up to 10 million degrees or more. So knowing that the sun's core is the source of energy, you would imagine as you move away from the source of energy, it should get colder, but actually on the sun, the opposite happens. And we don't really understand why. There are many explanations, many theories, but we haven't had a definitive explanation for why this is the case. It's called the coronal heating problem. So not only is the corona getting hotter as you move away from the surface, as we mentioned earlier, it's also 1 million times dimmer than the solar surface. This is why it's really valuable during a solar eclipse when the sun's disk is covered completely by the moon, because it's blocking out all of that really bright disk light, and it means that we can see the very faint corona extending out from the surface of the sun.
This information about the composition of the sun is the result of many years of exploration and research, stretching back to the time when the Italian astronomer Galileo used telescopes to observe the sun and the planets in 1609, and this helped him to develop the then controversial idea formulated by the Polish polymath Copernicus that the planets, including Earth, orbited the sun and not the other way round. Emma, how did that theory, known as heliocentrism, change the way we thought about the sun and its place in our lives?
Perhaps one of the most important things about the modern scientific revolution is that today we know that the sun is just an average star, one of billions in our Milky Way galaxy, and therefore the universe does not have a center anymore. It does not follow a particular order. And this was the argument of the 16th century Italian philosopher Giordano Bruno. He was the first to propose that the universe was infinite and could have no center anymore. He said that an infinite number of stars and planets were in the universe. So to him, there are as many suns as there are stars. And this statement was quite revolutionary at this time.
Thank you for that, all of you. And in part 2 of this forum from the BBC World Service, we'll be delving further into the ways in which the sun has shaped our lives through history, and how today our reliance on modern technology
against the euro this morning. And that really, I guess, speaks to the fact that, yet again, the dollar is pretty strong across the board right now. As you can see, the euro is off by nearly 2/3 of 1% right now against the greenback. The euro was positive territory against sterling slightly earlier on this morning. Sterling now, as I say, ahead against the euro, down against the US dollar. On the gilt markets, obviously we've been talking an awful lot about that this week. Yields in 20 and 30-year UK government bonds are largely unchanged following the Bank of England's intervention yesterday. Obviously, that's pretty good news in terms of restoring a bit of calm to the markets. On the equity markets, well, despite Wall Street's positive close last night, the Asia-Pacific region saw mixed trading overnight. Tokyo and Sydney eked out some reasonable gains there, but as you can see, Hong Kong and Shanghai still in negative territory amid concerns over the property sector. Well, in Europe, here's the current picture. All of the main indices there in negative territory right now, all of them off by around 1.25% right now. The talking points in Europe this morning include H&M. The shares of the UK, the world's second largest fashion retailer, are down by some 2.5% in Stockholm. That is following news of weaker than expected profits. Well, here in London, it's a similar story right now. The FTSE 100 is off by just over 1%, 1.1% there, really. In a broad-based sell-off, leading the fallers on the FTSE this morning. The house builders Barratt and Taylor Wimpey, well, they're both in the wars again. Barratt off 12%, Taylor Wimpey off 6.25%. Now, with Barratt, there's a very specific exaggerated. Part of that is the fact that today. Very few FTSE gainers to mention. Unilever is one of them, though. Look at that. The shares are up 0.9%. There's a bit of broker comment out there this morning putting wind in the sails of that particular stock. As for the oil price, well, that is lower this morning amid concerns over the stuttering global economic outlook. A barrel of Brent crude right now will set you back $89.03 a barrel. That is off 1/3%. Well, joining me now is Guy Ellison. He's head of listed equities at Investec Wealth and Investment. Guy, welcome to you. Obviously, it's been turmoil in the gilt markets this week. You are starting to see a little bit of overspill in corners of the equity market, aren't you?
Absolutely, Ian, and it continues a theme that we've really seen dominate equity markets over the course of this year. The narrative, the reason, the weakness behind equity markets hasn't been so much, at least so far, to do with disappointment on an earnings or revenue point of view. It's been that relationship between equity prices and bond prices and what rising bond yields have meant for equities. Now we're starting to see that influence from bond yields spill over perhaps into other asset classes that we might have thought were less diversified than bonds as equities as well. And
that's a very, very good point you make. Equities have obviously sold off very aggressively in the US this year. I mean, the main stock indices down by about 20% apiece. We've got Q3 earnings season coming up. Earnings have so far been pretty robust this year.
It's important here to try and look for positives, and one positive we can take so far from what has been an otherwise very challenging year is the resilience of corporate profits. And you're exactly right. The third quarter results season starts in just over a fortnight's time, officially with JP Morgan. They'll tell us how the last 3 months has been from their point of view, and that is interesting. But the market is going to be so focused on management's guidance for the next 3 months. You know, how do they see profits faring for the full year? And so far, earnings expectations for the US market in aggregate have not shifted at all over the course of this year. At the start of this year, earnings for the S&P expected to be $222. Today, they're expected to be $222. So as of yet, we haven't really seen that broad weakness in corporate profits coming through.
Now, there's a lot of debate going on in the industry now about whether the portfolio construction model that we've had for so many years that has done us pretty well is still relevant in this day and age, given that this year, very, very rarely, we've seen both bonds and equities falling in unison. We don't see that very often.
No, I mean, for wealth managers such as ourselves, a simple but hitherto fairly effective rule of thumb when building a portfolio for a client has been a 60-40 model. That's to say around 60% of the client's capital would go into equities, riskier assets, but where we'd expect to get superior long-term returns. And the other 40% would go into fixed interest assets where we accept a lower level of return, but with more
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out.
He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The hole of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agent, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the coco set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for who? For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
and the Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is
UK.
Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We want to welcome you to the Thursday edition of the Morning Show at the Starr Radio UK. Apologies for the late start of the program. Yes, as you know, we're trying to get all the technical team trying to make sure that everything ticks along nicely. But this morning, if you are tuning in to listen to us, do me a massive favor. Those of you on the Facebook, YouTube, and all the social media platforms, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. But let me say good morning to the team this morning, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, and my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. Hey, Amaya, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very well. Anthony Dedeji in the USA, Aziz in the USA. Good morning to you guys. And let me say good morning to the one and only, and still, Miss Gold, all the way in UAE. My special envoy. I hope you are all doing very, very well. Now let me just put it this way, all protocol observed. Starr Radio UK, Thursday edition of the Morning Show. Now, if it's the first time of tuning in to listen to us on a Thursday morning, this is how the program goes. I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel updates will continue from there. We continue, and then we have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. At 11 o'clock, I'm Olayomi Koiki will be joining you to bring you updates from Nigeria after yesterday's Niger Voices. Well, we'll be telling you more about that. Is the election going to be holding? Well, we'll talk about nations. We'll talk about the Yoruba nation. We'll talk about the Igbo nation. And we'll talk about the Middle Belt nation as well. You want to know more? Make sure your dials are so logged on. Then after that, we'll continue to look at some of the stories making the rounds. We continue from there till exactly 12 o'clock when the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. But before then, if you have any comments or anything of the sort, you can post it on our Facebook page or on any of the social media platform. And I promise you one thing for sure, we're going to be touching on that. Then at 1 o'clock exactly, we'll bring the curtains down for the end of the program. But you can be part of it. I know you are proud of it. So be part of it. Don't sit on the fence. Let me know what your thoughts are. So let's crack on straight. On the quote for the day says, you cannot continue living a normal life and expect to birth something new and be successful. Now you want to do something extraordinary, or you want to see something extraordinary, you got to do something extraordinary. And that's what the saying, or how the saying goes. Well, for the weather front, yeah. You know what is happening on the weather front. Those of you in the UK, yes, you are getting ready to turn your heaters on, and that means some goodie out of your pocket. But let me tell you what it's going to be today. Now, for London and the southeast of England, we're going to be seeing temperatures ranging between 17 tops and 7 lows. And then
afternoon particular will sink in from the north, bringing a few scattered showers. However, there will be sunny spells between the showers and it will become largely dry towards the evening. Now this evening, any lingering showers will fade away to leave skies largely clear overnight. A few patches of mist and fog may form under clear skies. A chilly night experience once again. UV level is going to be low, pollution is going to be low, sunset is going to be at 18:44 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 06:57 hours. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and I'll bring you the travel updates. Playing in the background, don't you worry, I'm going to bring you the full end of that song from Pastor Childer Boachias featuring Rosa J. Okay, so stay tuned, don't you go away.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, and keep navigating wherever you might be. It's now 10:53. Normally, it will come your way exactly at 10:40. The route, but let's go on. Now, on the underground this morning, good service, London Overground, good service. It's only the London tram lane that's got minor delays, and that is due to shortage of trams. Now moving on straight to the major roads in London, A10, A13, A4, Central London Red Route, South Circular A205 have all got serious delays. Now non-circular A406 has got serious closures and non-circular A406 has got serious delays. My apologies for that. Now moving on straight to the river bus. On the river bus this morning, the Woolwich area has got special service. The other side, all the others, you got it, good service. On the London cable car, good service throughout there. Moving on to the final segment of the travel update, that is the National Rail. On the National Rail this morning, now Avanti West Coast has got reduced service. Moving on straight. Great Northern has also got minor delays. Great Western, good service there. Great Anglia, minor delays. London Overground, minor delays there as well. Now Southwestern Railway, minor delays. Southeastern, minor delays. Stansted Express, minor delays there as well. Now Festival Spain and Express has also got minor delays. That aside, all the others have got good service. And as I will say it, you know it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your comment for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my matchless Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The whole of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Welcome back to the program. Let's crack on straight to the global trotting. Yes, wherever you are, just be part of it. Yes. Now, when it comes to Nigeria, some of the stories that we're going to be looking at this morning: trigger happy naval operatives open fire on journalists and humanitarian workers in underwater ways. We'll be looking into that. The journalists and officials were on their way from a free medical outreach in the river Rhine communities when they were attacked at Odofado. Well, were they dressed like insurgents or what? We'll be bringing you more on that front in a moment. But wherever you are, don't you go away. So from the updates, details of it coming your way from the updates from Nigeria. Article launches campaign. Books agree. Government's boycott event. Well, we'll be looking into it. Well, whose campaign started on a good note and who is in pole position? Yeah. We'll be bringing you more on that front. But moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds as well. Historical moment as Guinea Stadium massacre trial opens in Conakry. Yeah, will somebody be held culpable for that? Or somebody go down for that? Will somebody fall on their sword for that? We don't see that in Africa. So we're going to be watching it very, very closely. Uganda president downplays Ebola scare. No need for anxiety. All right, he's an old man being kept in his his castle or his palace, and therefore that's what he would say. But if you're listening to us and you're from that part of the world, to Tiso Radio, I say massive good morning to you all. What do you think about all that? We'll be bringing you more on that front. Now, UTAG, 3 other university labor unions threatened to go on strike on October 5th. Yes, so do you think that's going to happen? And impregnating the motives of judges is actually undermining integrity of judiciary, judges, magistrates association. Good luck to them. Well, if I know, or there being a documentary showing that judges or magistrates or whoever who are receiving bribes or receiving goods and chicken, and because of that they just don't give the right judgment, then what do you think people should think about that? And especially when we see things that glaringly we see them not towing the line, not doing what is right, then who or what do you think? Who creates your image? Yesterday we were talking about the fact that when we talk about respect, and it said respect has to be earned. When it comes to your reputation as well, you want people to hold you in high esteem, you got to work on it. All right? Are they doing their best? We'll be bringing you more on that front. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. 10:59 the time, the morning show. And one other IMF program will help MPP break the age. Former MP is saying, interesting. Well, when you lose your jobs, or when they cut your the money that is being paid for you, and they stop all whatever project that they are undertaking, tell me how that is going to pan out for you. A group rider doesn't want voters register to be more than 50% off. More coming on that front. They're going to be coming out with a new voters register. They said no, they're not going to be doing that. All that they're going to be doing is to give you an open window for those who have not registered yet to do so, a continued registration. And how are these ones going to do so? We're going to be bringing you more on that. Let me say good morning to us, Salihu Adil. Good morning, man. Good morning to you as well, wherever you are. I'll continue to stay tuned. Don't touch the dial. Well, but some of the big news that is making the rounds here in other parts of the world before we come to the UK. Cities flooded and power cuts as Ian crosses Florida. Storm Ian, has caused lots of devastation. They're wrecking breaking down trees and all that stuff. We'll be bringing you more on that front. Sweden finds new leak in Russia gas pipeline. I bet you more holes are being shown. And Pfeiffer and Snoop lead tributes to rapper Coolio. Yeah, Coolio has lost his life. You remember him? Gangster's Paradise rapper. Yeah, he died 59. They say from some heart issue there. Cardiac arrest. Now Kamala Harris visits DMZ after North fired missile. The U.S. Vice President has visited the North Koreans following new missile tests by the North as well. And we'll be looking into it while we had the Speaker of the House of Reps going to Taiwan, and that brought about the anger of China. Now we'll have visits to South Korea also bring about the anger of the North, and then we'll see more of such happening. We'll be bringing you more on that front. Now when it comes to the UK front, well, the striking barristers to vote on pay proposals. Well, we have barristers who are striking lawyers in England and Wales are to vote on whether to end the strike after a new government pay offer. Well, they said now everybody has to sign that's what they are agree on before they can move on. Well, Prime Minister defends mini budget as urgent action in difficult times. Liz Truss says she had to move quickly to reduce the tax burden and get the economy going. Reduce the tax burden on who? You or me? Well, Miss Gold, greetings. It's a greetings, Starr Radio. Greetings to all of you in UAE. Now, government is undercutting institutions. And who is speaking? The former Bank of England Governor, Mark Carney, is accusing Downing Street of working at cross purposes with the bank. Well, I thought that he's out there. He should just be quiet there. But he decided, no, he's not going to be quiet. He's going to get himself involved in what is going on in the UK at the moment. And the final one, 2 planes in minor collision at Heathrow. Well, I think somebody is going to be paying for that. Who was directing the planes on the ground? Well, you want to know more? Stay tuned. Don't touch the dial. Star Radio UK. Let's enjoy the rest of this music, and I will be with you. It is Star Radio UK and your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes.
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The whole of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 10 minutes past the top of the hour. Yes, you know, it is time for us to bring you updates from Nigeria. I've got Mr. Olayomi, the White Lion, all ready to fire on all cylinders. But before then, let me say good morning to Prince Abimbolo. He says, good morning, Starr Radio UK. Greetings to Mr. Archie, White Lion, and Mr. Frank. Your nation is the only alternative we want. Break up Niger now. Okay, now I think I'm going to get a big hammer that we can use to break it up. But well, we got Mr. Olayomi here, and let me go to him. Yummy, good morning to you. Yummy, I can't hear you. Check your sound, let's see. Okay, I can't hear Yummy. I can't hear Yummy. Let's see. All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Okay. Anthony Adedeji, good morning, and thumbs up to you too. How are you doing?
Very good. It is a very good morning to all our listeners, and welcome once again to Starr Radio UK.
Okay. Yes. Listeners, let's once again apologize for yesterday's issue when it came to the Niger Voices. Yeah, we apologize sincerely for that. The technical team are working on it, and the technical work has been going on overnight till this morning, and that's why we started a bit late. But wherever you are, we want to make sure that we bring you the best in everything. So, yes. There's lots of things going on. I mean, interestingly, I think somebody would think that if we have journalists and we have what do we call them, humanitarian workers going to do, they are the ones that the security agencies will actually protect, but it didn't happen that way. So what happened in this trigger happy never operatives, I mean, deciding to shoot? Were these people wearing some maybe terrorist attire or something?
Well, it was not a terrorist attack. Once again, a very good morning to all our listeners from around the world, and welcome to Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. These actually happened in the southwest of Nigeria, and as usual, it is what a lot of our Nigerians are used to when it comes to, happy trigger security operatives. These are humanitarian workers, making their way on the Ondo waterways. They are not just humanitarian workers, they also have journalists and officials. We do understand that, a waterway could be a threat of life, but the question is, were they visibly enough for the Navy operatives to know who they are? Were they questioned before these trigger into these journalists? As we know, it was a commercial boat that was carrying the journalists and some officials of Ilaje Rural Development Community that came under fire by the Navy operatives on patrol in the Ondo Riverine community, and this all happened yesterday in Ondo State.
That's quite an interesting one. My issue is the nautical organization in Nigeria. Do they have anything where if a boat, a commercial boat or whatever, is traveling from one point to the other, they are able to monitor and tell you that, oh, okay, this person, okay, this person is or this boat is traveling this way or something of the sort? Do they have anything of the sort where they are able to communicate among themselves?
Well, I mean, when there's a threat to the waterways, definitely it is the right of the security operatives to to put that threat to stop. Remember that Ondo State was a state that we had the terrorist attack at the St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo some 3 months ago, and we do also know that the waterways is also being used for all kind of illegal different activities. But the question you ask is, the Navy do have what it takes to recognize such a small little boat that would have probably picked up one or two of these. The IRDC is a community-based organization that was set up in 2005. So it will not be the first time that they are doing outreach, as we might want to call it, in that particular area. But the question is, what could have led to the Navy now firing into a boat occupied by the journalists and the IRDC officials, among those flagged down by the Navy personnel patrol. But because Nigeria, it's always been that when you put on this military or Navy or even a LASMA, it becomes an outfit that is used to terrorize Nigerians, and it has been going on for a very long time. Not just particularly to this government, but this has been known to be what it used to be even during the military era, from the 80s, where the military actually used that same uniform to terrorize Nigerians, and that is still going on, even though we are no longer in a military era. We are meant to be in a democratic rule, but that rule of law sometimes do not apply to these security operatives. And we've seen accidental discharge. Let's talk about the one that happened during the July 3rd rally that was called in Lagos State. It was an happy trigger that eventually killed a young girl that has nothing to do with the rally, just doing a little small sales that was very close to the rally. And that is a picture there. Jumoke Oyeleke was eventually killed by the Happy Trigger security operatives in Lagos State last year.
Wow, listeners,
and also when you look at Chinere was actually killed by the DSS as well in what we can call an Happy Trigger security operatives. Okay.
Now let me ask something on this front. What are the Naval Command said about this? Because I mean, if it was a mistaken identity and they ended up shooting, thinking that they were terrorists or anything of the sort, what have they said? Maybe come to give some explanation for that.
Well, I mean, when such things happen, especially when it comes to the limelight of the public, but effort by the Nigerian news agency to at least speak with the commanding officer of the Nigerian Navy, or Navy Captain Shuaibu Mohammed Ahmed, has proved abortive as calls made to his phones were not going through. Meanwhile, no fewer than 600 residents from that riverine community of Odofado and Awoye benefited from the free medical outreach that has been organized by the RDC and sponsored by the NNPC and Chevron. Remember that that particular area also has substantial amount of crude oil.
That is where so some maybe the military the naval command might say that, well, because of the robbery that goes on there where people are stealing crude oil. I mean, for the past few months we've been talking about the one-time robbery of crude oil, I mean, amounting to billions, and then so maybe it's because of that they undertook such actions. But the question is, when this group of what do you call them, people who are reaching out, outreach people, are embarking on such tasks, do they seek permission from the naval high command to say that, look, we're going to be doing that, so make sure that we are protected and stuff like that?
Well, that I believe should be the first engagement if you're going to be traveling on a waterway that is so very important for your outreach. Security operatives within that area should be aware of that. But since we do not know whether that was something that was done prior to that, but if you look at since 2005 that according to this organization have been operating, it will not be the first time that outreach is being done in that particular area. And moreover, this outreach was also something that was sponsored, by the NNPC and Chevron in that particular area. But the question is, why, the Navy decided that they would decide to put, the happy trigger, bullet into a moving passenger vehicle that is not a threat to the lives of the community.
So sad. Have they given the number of people who have died, casualties, and those who have been wounded?
Well, no one died from that incident, but I believe it is just something that needs to be highlighted again, as we do know, based on the two images that I just showed earlier, that it is not the first time that many Nigerians have been caught up with happy trigger security operatives in Nigeria.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Let me say good morning to Rukiyat Amumi. He said good afternoon. So, Rukiyat, where are you listening to us from? Are you in UAE or in Russia? Let us know where you are listening to us from, so we can acknowledge you properly. But wherever you are, it is Starr Radio UK. It is the Thursday edition of the morning show, updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Now let's come to we jumped a bit. Normally we would have talked about what you talked about during Niger Voices. Now we have the launching of the campaigns, the various parties. We know that the APC decided to hold theirs out because we don't know whether the presidential candidate is going for medical help, or we're not sure what is happening there. But the other parties went on it. So just bring a bit of what was discussed on Niger Voices and link it with Atiku launching his bid as or his campaign there.
Well, yesterday was another, very interesting part of the program that we've done, continuously for the almost, 5 years. And since that the election is getting closer, we do also have the indigenous people that are now also claiming, their right, into the territory that they belong to and they own. But as we do understand, the campaign trail also was launched yesterday, and I saw Peter Obi endorsed with good amount of people, and also Bloomberg is also predicting that he will win that election come next year. But yesterday we did ask the question, relating to, the 2023 general election. Likewise, the Yoruba nation, the Biafra nation, the Middle Belt, and the Iowa. And the question is, should we allow an election to go ahead, or is it time, to discuss the unity of Nigeria? It was quite a very tense one because, when I was reading through all the comment that was coming through, very, very fast comment, and almost as usual, a lot of those that were listening, to the program yesterday also agree that the unity of Nigeria is really, really in a crossroad as we speak right now. And that means that, if we really want to have the peace, the unity among ourselves, we should now come into a kind of a round table and look into the future of what Nigeria should look like. Should we have a Nigeria with a new president in 2023, regardless of whoever becomes that president, or should we have, these, boiling question is who truly is a Nigerian? Because as we do know, Nigeria was something that was, that is just a mere geographical location, and likewise, Nigeria, as we know, is something that has been, forced on the. And Nigeria has been something that has been forced on Nigerians to be called Nigeria. But it seems the campaign trail yesterday still indicate that there is still hope for those that think that there is hope. So that was what was discussed yesterday. If you missed that part, you need to go back again on the Star Radio UK social media, from Facebook to YouTube to Twitter, where you can listen to. But in the first 30-40 minutes of that program, you'll probably not see as much. But when you become more patient, you realize that there was a lot that was discussed for the remaining part of the segment.
Okay. Thank you very much. Akim Adil Razaki, good morning to you, and thank you for the love and the bowl, the fruit bowl with showing love there as well. We really appreciate you, and thumbs up to you as well. Now, so let's come to the launching of the various their campaigns with the PDP doing this. Where did Atiku launch his campaign?
Well, Atiku actually launched his campaign in Abuja, but that also created a lot of headline this morning, as you can tell, because not all the governors of the PDP, was at the event, because they actually boycotted. We're talking about, governors that you would expect to be in the campaign trail. Remember that it is still a bit of problem, in that camp. So Atiku launched campaign. Books aggrieved governors also boycott the event. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, inaugurated the party presidential campaign council in line with the 2023 general election timetables of the Independent National Electoral Commission. This as the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Tinubu, and the Labour Party presidential standard bearer, Peter Obi, had actually postponed their own inauguration of their campaign council, citing various reasons. However, the PDP party campaign council inauguration, which was held yesterday at the International Conference Center, was marked also with the launch of 3 books written in honor of the presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. But the event was attended by the PDP governors, ex-governor, top chieftaincies. But likewise, we saw the former Vice President Nnamdi Sambo, describe the custom boss as a man knew the pathway to rescue Nigeria. I'm not sure how he wants to rescue Nigeria, because Nigeria, as it is right now, is going through a turmoil. But not to say also that the governors that refused to attend, from Oyo State in the southwest of Nigeria, Seyi Makinde did not attend, Wike did not attend as well, and we also have some of the other governors that decided they're not going to be attending that event. So the question then is, are you also stayed away? Speaking at the program, the Deputy National Chairman Elijah Damogu, who represented the Mbatu National Chairman, remember that the reason why these governors are not attending and the problem in the PDP camp is just because of the national chairman of the PDP, and he was not there as well, but he had his deputy that also was present. So the question then is, true to the decision not to be part of the PDP Presidential Council, Rivers State Governor Nelson Wike, Oyo, Benue, Oton, and also shunned the inauguration of the campaign council, which was held in Abuja. Likewise, we also know that the governor of Ikpazua of Abia State, Governor Ifeanyi Ingua Nuyi of Enugu State, Professor Jerry Gana, and the former governor of Ekiti State, the ex-Ekiti State Governor of Fayosha, and former governor of Plateau State, all did not attend. And the question is, what will be the next for the PDP?
What will be the next for the PDP? We want to know what you think about that. Let me say good morning to Liz Dada. He says, morning to Mr. Olayomi, morning to Archie, and morning to you as well, Liz. We hope you are doing very, very well. Okay. Now, Liz, where are you listening to us from? It will be lovely to know where you're listening to us from. Okay. Yes. All right then. Now, let's quickly. Bloomberg has predicted that Tinubu is going to win the election.
Well, when we look at the election that is getting closer, it seems that we will start seeing these prediction, whether from the spiritual aspect, whether from the prophecies that is going to be coming out, and sometimes those prophecies do fail. But Bloomberg, actually you've mixed it up, is not Tinubu, but Bloomberg predicted a landslide victory for Peter Obi. Says 72% of Nigerian voters are ready to elect Labour in 2023. This survey was carried out from San Francisco-based Fremis Delta Corp, placed Mr. Obi in the lead. This will give the Obi camp the kind of energy that that continue to trail either offline and online. Yesterday, Peter Obi was in Jos. The crowd was quite massive. If you look at the crowd as well, the result of the survey that was conducted for Bloomberg News have actually shown that 72% of his respondents will vote for the former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party at the 2023 general election in February. The survey that was carried out in San Francisco-based Premise Data Corp placed Obi in the lead. Of the 92% of the participants who said they have decided how to vote, 72% name Obi as their first choice. Of those who still unsure, 45% say the 61-year-old is the preferred candidate. Former Lagos State Governor Bola Tinubu of the ruling All Progressive Congress garnered 16% of the decided voters, 23% for those yet to put up their mind, and likewise the ex-Vice President Atiku Abubakar of the main opposition People's Democratic Party got 9%, 17% respectively. So we will see how this plays out as 2023 is getting closer, and that would also determine the fate of those that says indigenous would like to have their own independent nation out of it. So there's a lot of mixed bag as we are moving into that 2023. But the campaign trail started yesterday, and Jos was where Peter Obi kicked it all over, and there was a massive crowd for him out there.
Now, thank you very much there. But when it comes to surveys in Nigeria during elections, how credible are they?
Well, I mean, this is the first time that we are having a third force, and I believe if you remember that in 2019, just before we traveled down as well, Starr Radio UK to cover that election, we had the show we read, the Feladro to it, that was in our studio, and we were thinking that would be that kind of synergy third force. But it seems that both of them and the rest as well, wanted to have it on their own. They were not coming together. So the Nigerians were not really interested in those individuals, and that literally means that we had just the APC and the PDP, on that ballot. There was quite a lot of survey, but Nigerians were tired of APC, even though after the 4 years, but they gave them that opportunity again, and as you can tell now, that opportunity, as Nigerians believe, has been misused. The economy is completely down. The security is no longer working. Education sector is so bad, and likewise all other sectors as well. In as much as we know there's a lot of crises, we're coming out of the COVID, and likewise, as you can tell, there's a lot of issues globally, even here in the United Kingdom, as we can tell. But the question you asked is survey. How does the survey work? I believe that when the first, in 2015, after Buhari tied for more than a couple of times, there was a force coming together, and that synergy actually brought him into the presidency in 2015. And as at that time, it seems everybody was just tired of the PDP and they wanted something different, but there was no third force. But this time around, we have a third force that is moving and pushing, and the time will tell as Nigerians will be going for the 2023, just as the indigenous people are saying, we also decide our fate in the territory that we belong and we own. So all this is happening for the first time, because when we looked at 2015, we didn't see this synergy of the self-determination, the indigenous people. We didn't see that. All we saw was Nigerians in one cloud, even though there were few people that disagree. I mean, those that were thinking that the Nigerians should be restructured And if you look at the Afenifere as an example, representing the southwest of Nigeria, they now believe that, they should back Peter Obi in as much as they will not back a Yoruba person that is at, the APC. When you look at the Onaize, they believe that, the presidential should come to them, but it seems that Emilokon, the APC, are saying that it is our time because we actually gave Buhari, he cried on the television and I brought him in, and that means it's Emilokon. Atiku is now saying that I'm going to not be in Dubai after every election. It is my time. And also, as the self-determination movement, the Yoruba, Professor Banji Akintoye is saying in one of his videos that I watched, we will allow Tinubu to do his own part, we will do our own part, and we allow the Yoruba to decide if they still want to be part of Nigeria.
Wow, that's a good one there, because I'm going to come to how many days more. We know we have only 1 day for that letter that was sent to the federal government to be responded to, and if they are not, what action is the Yoruba Nation going to take on that front? But let me say good morning to Pastor Momo. He said dissolving the contraption called Nigeria will be the best for the common people. Okay, and then let me say good morning to Salihu Adio. It's a good morning, man. Yes, bro. Good morning to you. Shina Yusuf, good morning to you. Yes, long time. I hope you are doing very, very well. Now, let me come to you. Now, we had some groups. I mean, I think the Southeast who were saying they wouldn't allow any campaigns to be taking place there. So, virtually, if they're not allowing campaigns, some way, somehow, they wouldn't allow the election itself to take place there. I mean, and I am sure that the federal government is going to unleash the security personnel down there to make sure that those people participate. But if you take the case where they've come out with this Monday sit at home that is still holding and people are abiding by it, I mean, do you think the election will hold in those part of the country at all?
As the election is drawing closer, I mean, it shows that we will need a lot, to review, because the Southeast presently is being, leashed on military-wise by the federal government. And why do I say that? I mean, the amount of security that the federal government keep pushing into the Southeast, shows that the government is worried, is concerned. I mean, I was actually looking at, some of the latest news. 5 Nigerian soldiers were killed as gunmen attack Anambra community. Gunmen have reportedly killed 5 soldiers in Anambra, while one of the assailants reportedly lost his life. The incident occurred around 1 p.m. I mean, this is a broad daylight. Yesterday in Uzumi, Orumba South local government area of the state, the attack comes barely 24 hours after a similar attack in Enugu, an adjoining state. So the question you asked is, the Southeast are saying that we will not allow campaign to go ahead, in the Southeast. Yes, the sit at home Monday by the Biafra is still very, very ongoing, and more people are doing that on their own will, and that literally means that the issue of an election in the Southeast. Remember that the security will now have to be stretched. This is not just a state election that they have, the mechanism, to put in all those pressure in the state and allow a free and fair conducted election. We're now talking about the whole 36 states, where in the north part of the country is being ravaged. We have, the terrorists that have actually taken over some of the local government in some of the states, and they're actually controlling that. The question then is, how do we manage the crisis, if an election is going to hold, especially as the Biafra are saying that we don't want to be part of Nigeria, we want an out of Nigeria, and we want that dialogue to happen as quickly as possible before a 2023 general election. Likewise, the Yoruba are saying that, we do not want to be part of Nigeria, we want to sit on the round table and discuss the unity of Nigeria. But it seems that the federal government and those politicians are not worried and concerned, because they believe that they will be able to convince the other Nigerians to allow an election to hold based on a fraudulent 1999 constitution that has been enforced on Nigeria. And I was listening to the former president Olusegun Obasanjo as usual yesterday. He's actually said something again yesterday when Khan actually paid him a visit. He said, and I quote, politicians will wreck Nigeria. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo on Wednesday says politicians would wreck Nigeria if the religious leader did not intervene. He was actually saying this in his penthouse in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, when the president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, the Most Reverend Daniel Oko, paid him a courtesy visit. Obasanjo says, and I quote, "One that if politicians with no fear of God were allowed to have their way, the entire country will regret it, as the 2023 election might either make or break Nigeria. It therefore appealed to the religious leader in the country to stop bad politicians from destroying the country." So it seems the indication of a breakup of Nigeria is coming up, gradually, as Nigerians also are now getting to understand that it is the politicians that are working against each of our community from being developed, when billions and billions of money that is meant to be used. I was listening to the committee yesterday where almost 10 billion is being allocated for an Islamic Arabic exam, and in the return we only get 35 million back from that same budget that has been put in there. About 8,000 staff are employed, and the question is, can we really continue in this pathway? But those that are in support of the election say Peter Obi can change the narratives.
Well, someone say Peter Obi can change the narrative, but with that statement that Professor Akintoye made, it looks like he is of the view that maybe Tinubu becomes president. Coming from the Yoruba side of the part of the country, might maybe see sense. Is that what he's trying to say there?
Well, not literally that. I think, as an historian, the leader of a movement is not trying to, probably say otherwise. Tinubu is a Yoruba man. He has the right if he wants to be the president. But we've seen that past. Awolowo tried the same thing. The late Chief Obafemi Awolowo wanted to be the first prime minister, premier of Nigeria in 1959. That election was rigged. When you look at the late Chief MK Abiola, was voted by every tribe in Nigeria, but it was stopped by the Fulani Caliphate that did not give him the power. And today Tinubu is saying that he will do everything to make sure that he becomes the president, whether that is going to happen or not. But he is already trending on the social media this morning at exactly 19,000 tweets. Where is Tinubu?
Well, nobody knows where Tinubu is. But listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We will go to the other stories, but Frank is here. Let me just have a take from him pertaining to what the former president Obasanjo said, that, well, this time around he reckons that religious leaders need to rise up and speak. If not, politicians, he said, those who are not God-fearing, so whether they are Muslims, whether they are Christians or whatever, because people who are not disciplined when it comes to their own personal lives, they will wreck Nigeria, and therefore calling on the clerics to now call these people to order. Do you think that is going to help? And good morning to you.
Archie, good morning to our listeners. Olayomi, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I hope Olayomi can hear me loud and clear.
If you push it up a little bit, and then
Archie, the call is not in. To me, it's a good call because where do we congregate? We congregate every tomorrow. You see 1,000 troops to mosques, to be able to go and seek the face of Allah. On a daily basis, today Thursday we have midweek services in all the big churches. Tomorrow Saturday fasting and anointing. Friday fasting and anointing. Going to what they call it, Sunday special delivery, deliverance service. So basically, we congregate at churches. Are you getting me? If you take a typical African community, we either declare that we are Christians, we are Muslims. Okay. Now, for me, calling on people to leadership to speak out alone is not a solution. What the solution is, or what we need to be looking at, has the church, has the what they call it, the religion, have we failed? Because if Muslims are supposed to live up to what they go by, what is preached,
in the Quran. And if Christians are supposed to live by, because we congregate, unless we are congregating just for social event, for fun or anything. Because these are the same people who are in leadership.
Yeah.
Right? So even the speaking, let the regional leader speak, yes, it works, it helps. But the question is, from where we coming from to occupy those positions, have we failed? Because you cannot tell me that a Sunday saint, Monday to Saturday demons.
You're only Christians or Muslims when we are in the mosque. Outside there,
we
are doing our own
kind of fish. So tomorrow, all the Muslims that have stolen, cheated, signed fraudulent documents, killed, murdered, tomorrow they go to pray for Allah. Say Allah should bless them. So basically, when we congregate, are we failing? What is the I asked today, what is the relevance of going to church today? Well, we see God, those are different, but I'm saying we are failing.
Morality.
We are failing. So if we are failing, what impact will they have on the society when the pastors speak? Because they speak. They always talk to our churches. They speak to our mosques. And those of us who they will be talking to when Obasanjo said they should talk, we listen to them always. Are we preaching the right messages? Are we calling on them to be truthful for once?
Okay.
So when you're asking them, speak, what are they going to be saying that we've not heard before? Are they going to go and see Buhari and take some envelope, and therefore when they are speaking, they don't speak the truth? Is that what they're going to be doing?
Allow me want to check in.
Because I was actually looking at that statement from a former president himself, and he says the religious leader in the country to stop bad politicians. I mean, we do know that probably that's why INEC says no campaign in the churches and the mosques. But how do a religious leader stop bad politicians? Probably creating orientation in their gatherings and advising Nigerians that these politicians are coming. I mean, yesterday there's a video, that people are being paid, to now move into a campaign rally, and that is exactly what Nigerians will be saying more in those little gatherings. Remember that even churches, disagree with when they were, inaugurating the vice chairman, the vice president Shaitima, when they were putting on a claret outfit, and eventually at the back after the event, money was being shared to those individuals.
You see, Archie, so that is a problem. Money is being shared. Some of the pastors even receive the money. But we know the churches can make a difference. We know the mosque can make a difference. We know leadership in those institutions because we revere them. I mean, the pastor, you hold some authority because you have been, appointed, chosen to be able to lead some people. Why is it that when it comes to money, when it comes to politics, you are afraid to actually speak the truth to power? Why is it that when it comes to politics, our Muslim leaders are scared to be able to speak the truth? Are we now looking at politics as the ultimate religion that we have to sacrifice for, compromise everything for? We know the churches can make a difference, and if you go back to Congo, but for the Catholic Church, Kabila was still in power. So we know the churches makes a difference. Actually, calling on the churches, the leadership to speak, I agree. But the question is that they have to speak in a different language. I'm not saying tongues.
He who goes to what do you call it?
I am not saying they should go and be speaking tongues. I'm not asking the Muslim leader to go and infect tongues. I'm saying the hypocritical attitude that they have adopted for all this while. They have to change. They have to know that they are leading the people. And if the people are suffering, it is their responsibility to speak out. So if they are going to speak, I welcome it. But their language must not be the same.
Well, he who goes to equity might go with a clean hand. So if they want to go to equity, we want to see their hands clean there. And let me say good morning to Taiwo Lamina. I said good morning, Koiki. Miss Gold, he said he's resting in London. You know why? He's saying that Tinubu is resting in London. Those of you who are asking where Tinubu is, Miss Gold has answered that. And Adamola Saeed says good morning, Mr. Koiki, and well done to you all. And thank you very much for sharing the broadcast. It is the Thursday edition of the morning show. Updates from Nigeria coming your way. With Mr. Olayomi again on North London Studios. I'm Archie here with Mr. Frank Davis in the South Studios. Okay, so let's go to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, Yomi.
Thank you so much, Mr. Archie. And let's go. Time spent already 11:46. And again, this is your finest African and Caribbean radio station. We're just going to look up at some of the one or two more headlines, go straight to the social media, come back again to you in the studio. APC chairman Right Tinubu accused candidate of betrayal. It seems that there's fire on the mountain already. Let's quickly touch on that. Mr. Tinubu is being accused of unpicking members of the PCC without consultation or approval from the APC National Working Committee. The chairman of the All Progressive Council, Abdullahi Adamu, has now accused the party presidential flag bearer, Bola Tinubu, of betraying the share agreement on the appointment of the members of the Presidential Campaign Council. In a letter written on behalf of the Party National Working Committee, Mr. Tinubu was accused of unpicking of the PCC without consultation or approval. So that is, the headline this morning. APC chairman Right Tinubu accused candidate of betrayal. Let's take a look at, some of the other headline as we have it as well. The politicians may destroy Nigeria. Obasanjo raised the alarm. We've talked about that, earlier. I will lead Nigeria to its best future. That is, Bola Tinubu himself. He's presently in London. But Ada Oshiomhole was interviewed, but he could not exactly tell us where Tinubu is. The presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has promised that he and his running mate, Senator Kashima Shettima, will lead Nigeria to its best future. We will and see whether that future would eventually come. It seems that the dollar is now 735 naira as political campaign begins. This is where dollar is being shared, and this is where money is also being given across different political platforms. The dollar is 735 naira in a parallel market on Wednesday as political campaign activities began in the country. Still, now let's go straight to the social media. As we do say earlier on, where is Tinubu? That is now on number 4, as a lot of question is being asked to the location of where Tinubu is. Peter Obi is trending at number 8 this morning. And now let's look at some of the other news as well. Nnamdi Kanu lawyers are still very concerned about his health, and they're now also continue to ask the international community to look into the reason why Nnamdi Kanu is still being held. But the headline from Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation, should be jailed for Nnamdi Kanu criminal adoption. That is coming from Barrister Ifeanyi this morning, as it says that Nnamdi Kanu that is still being held has been kept in the custody of the DSS. Malami should be jailed for Nnamdi Kanu criminal adoption, according to the lawyer. Abubakar Malami, the senior advocate of Nigeria and also the Attorney General of the Federation, has been accused of hypocrisy, bias, and the flagrant violation of the extradition laws in the adoption and the rendition of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Now let's look at the word Nigeria and what is trending on the social media this morning before I return back again to you in the studio, as is exactly 11:50 this morning on Star Radio UK. So as we can say this morning, we advocate for new Nigeria as the campaign trail kickstart already. Simon Ekpa, the message should have been that Nigerians supporting one Nigeria are suffering from mental illness. It is the reason we stay in diaspora and tell them that they are suffering in Nigeria. Also expose what is happening within Nigeria that they know nothing about. It is terrible. And the headline that says 60 million Nigerians suffering from mental illness. Star Radio UK, it is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to take one more from what is being tweeted this morning, and that one is actually coming again this morning from Ifa Funsho. Nigeria is a place of shop, make I chop. Or I repeat that again, Nigeria is a place of shop where you can also chop company. The citizens are the losers because they are not benefiting from the company. The only things they are enjoying every 4 years is the hope of changing the company via their PVC.
Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. Interesting. And I have some comments that have come through here. I was looking at it and
Come back again now to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Okay, thank you, Yomi. Yes. Let me acknowledge Sam.
I can hear you, Mr. Archie.
You can hear me. Yomi, I think it's from your end. I don't know. Because can you hear me now?
It seems we lost your voice, Mr. Archie.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Olayomi?
All right, we'll probably maybe just leave it that way for today.
All right.
Thank you. I'll be back again same time tomorrow at exactly 11 o'clock. Stay tuned again with Archie and Frank. And from me, join me at exactly 11 a.m. tomorrow for more update from Nigeria. Have a very good afternoon, good morning. Once again, this is Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Well, listeners, we apologize for the loss in audio from Olayomi in the latter part of his updates. My sincere apologies for that. Okay. Now, but let me read a couple of the statements that have comments that have come through. Miss Goes, Dwachide Ekuecho to you. Now, so I'm doing very well. And then some Joy Beauty here says, Ekaro, Mr. Koiki, Ati Awon, Alajo, Sisi, Papo, I'm doing my best. I'm learning to speak to the president there. And then Pastor Momo says, who is asking where Tinubu is? Now it says, Bible says, you will look for them, you will not find them, including Buhari, Atiku, and all evil politicians. Bishop Adesina says, kudos to you all. And let me say good morning to Akim Adio Razaki. Hey Akim, how are you doing? Thank you very much to each and every one of you who tuned in this morning to listen to us there. Continue to stay tuned because we're going to be bringing you more. But Frank, before we move on to other stories making the rounds in the world, you know, my take on this statement by Obasanjo is that now it is true that religious leaders can influence if they do if like they are coming with clean hands. So we have somebody who doesn't care. He will just come out to say, I'm not going to take any money from you. This is what you are doing wrong, and chastise government. But we don't see that. And we have the INEC saying, don't do any campaigns in churches. Now, if I'm a pastor of my church and I come to say in Nigeria, and I come to say that, look, I see Tinubu as a liar. So don't vote for him or look for the right people to vote. Virtually, I'm campaigning.
Basically, actually, you have the right as a citizen to speak out, to voice out what you know. You have the right to basically engage in political activities, even if you're a pastor. Being a pastor does not say, or it doesn't mean that you cannot vote, you cannot participate in the democratic process. The abuse of it, the abuse of a pulpit, because do not forget, churches are charity organizations. They're supposed to be charity organizations. So if you're going to use your pulpit and all you go to do is attack a political opponent just because you do not belong to them, that would be excessive, and that would be. But if a pastor says somewhere, say, look, for me, everyone who has done this or this person has done this, and therefore I will not vote and I urge people not to vote, it's just like me going to a drinking club and then telling my guys over there, look, you know what, as for Peter Obi, we'll vote for him. After Tinubu, we'll vote for him. After basically I pass my neighbor, what do you call it, the contractor for I pass my neighbor Atiku, we'll vote for him. So at the end of the day, it is the essence, it is how you use it. If for instance I have a restaurant and every day whenever I go, the restaurant owner, all he does is campaign, tell me what I'm eating in my piece. He's telling me about Tiku, how Tiku is good and nothing. I find it, and probably I support Agbalaja somewhere. It will be abuse.
Okay.
Are you getting it? And the churches, how they establish, you're not supposed to abuse that institution. Okay, but that doesn't mean the leadership cannot speak out against ills and evils within the community. And in fact, actually, the problem we do have in our community, especially in Africa, is as the direct result of these institutions, the church and the mosque. Those two institutions actually are contributing to the problems we do have. Why do I say that? Actually, When we go to swear presidents in, what do? We use the Bible.
Or the Quran. We use the Quran. Yeah.
Right? When people come to see us in the closet, what do? We pray for them. People come to confess to us, what do?
Same.
Do we encourage people actively, those who come to us and give? Do we encourage them actively to tell them, look, the people you are serving are children of God? And as a leader, if I do not tell you the truth and they continue to suffer under your watch, it doesn't matter whatever you give me, hell will be yours. And I will also go to hell because I knowingly, known that, or I knowingly aided you in your destruction of God's children. Are we able to tell these people? Someone go to steal, they can't we give them the front seat because we look at the fat
we need money to survive.
Well, that's what the Bible again says, right? Money is the root of money is good.
The love of money.
He answers all things. But the love of it. And if you look at what a lot of our men of God are turning to now, they are loving money. It is not about it being answering a lot, but the love of it. Because actually, if about 70% of us either go to the mosque or go to what do you call it, or go to the church, and we are actually supposed to, at least if for nothing at all, take to what Matthew said about being our brothers and neighbors keepers. And knowing that when I take this bridge that is going to be constructed between this location and this, and if I don't do the project properly, I am going to basically kill people. If I don't build that hospital, I am going to kill people. And I sign that contract and not only go to do a shortage job and start come and give offering, come and give Thanksgiving offering. What am I doing? I'm endangering people who are supposed to be my neighbors and who the gospel says I should be taken care of in one way or the other. So I've got to a point where now I begin to ask myself, apart from salvation being personal and therefore we're gonna develop personal relationship with God, all these church mosques, how are we impacting on the society? I don't know how are we impacting, because we see in UK, Europe, the churches are going down, right? But when they held on to Christianity, that is when all development, everything in Britain does. So I ask myself, are we also worshiping a different God that they did worship at that time? Because actually, look at how they sacrificed. Look at how they sacrificed. Most of the scholarship schemes, they sacrificed for it. Most of the institutions, they built for it. The Basel mission, everything that they did. Now even the churches, the schools that we established in our community, we established because we want it to be profit to us as individuals, as pastors. So for me, actually, it's good that pastors will have to speak, but I think what we're doing as our lifestyle is not helping. And you talk to a lot of youth today, they ask you, why do I go to church? Why should I go? It's gone to a point where telling someone to come to mosque with you is not becoming a burden.
The relevance of it is like,
it's becoming a burden. It's becoming a burden. Today when I see people standing on the street evangelize, I laugh because no one minds them.
Someone might hear it. It's like they're so just really
they don't hear anything actually, because actually we have failed substantially. Why are we ranking so high in corruption when we are ranking? Nigeria is the capital city of churches altogether in the world. The number of pastors that are coming from Nigeria globally, from the what they call it, Adibuyas to what you call it, Winners Church or whatever, Redeemed Church. Redeemed Church is now almost like a business entity that's like franchise every kilometers or whatever. A walking distance there must be church, and others with what a franchising model contributing every to the top of the church. That is fine. That's what you do. But the question is, all those of us who walk to those churches, on Sunday we are saints, Monday to Saturday we are demons, because we destroy. Because these are some of the secretaries that will sign fake checks. These are some of the messengers that will steal.
Those who are telling them just to swallow the money.
These are some of the mechanics that you tell them to repair your this thing. They go, instead of putting you ask them for full synthetic this thing, they go and put something lower, but they charge you high. They are the same people. You tell them to go and buy a brand new tie, they go and buy a wrong tie, come and put on it. These are people. They've not done the work, but they go to say, oh, we are coming. We
come to sacrifice.
We come to sacrifice. So what's the relevance?
Well, listeners, Star Radio UK. Before we take the break, I mean, while you are speaking, then something cropped up again, and that pertains to just a minute. The survey that was done. I mean, with Bloomberg saying that they reckon Peter Obi could win a landslide.
Peter Obi or
is that Peter Obi
could win?
Yeah, he's going to win a landslide election. But so I'm looking at it. Let's say that it is true. But I was asking. I wanted to find out from Yomi before because our time was. First of all, the sample size, and as to whether when it comes to our surveys or polls, when it comes to elections like that, as to whether we get the real or the right people to survey. Are we actually? Can we rely on that?
The OBP fever has catch up with a lot of Nigerians, especially the youth, and all they want to do is to give the traditional system a bloody nose. Atiku, for instance, people think that you have been in the system before. You were part of the generation that profited so much from the generator cells, and that is why today the electricity problem still exists. Because you control,
you sabotage everything that will make the national grid work.
I mean, Tinubu, yes, he did a good job when he was in Lagos, but he's part of. I mean, what they call the field Buhari administration. He's a cabinet minister, but he's part of the chairman. So what is he coming to offering you? Archie, Peter Obi winning election is possible, but it depends on Nigerians. If every Nigerian youth or everyone who supports Peter Obi will say, look, this election is a decision for the future of Nigeria, if there is a Nigeria. This is the future, or this determines how I want my great-grandchildren to come and look at this nation. That the last 50 years of experiment have not worked. We now need a new direction, and we think in this person we can see. And that should not be something you say in your bedroom alone.
It should be made public.
You should take action. That your next door, who is a PCP or whatever candidate, it should be your job to convince them to vote.
Okay.
The next door who supports Atiku, it should be your job as an individual. You do not need Obi to come for a rally over there. They should look at it that this is a personal work mandate to help change Nigeria, because not all of us can be candidates. So if we see what we want to see embodied in Peter Obi, then let's go for it. And on election day, we don't need to be officials of Labour Party. We don't need to be officials of INEC. We have to be officials of our own destiny. That today we want a change in the course of our lives, and therefore when I vote in that police station, I'm going to make sure that the votes that are counted are what actually represent the true will of the people. So you don't need to be giving card. You have to be there. That look, I am monitoring these polls. Look, I can stay hungry for 4 years, but today I am fasting for this. Even if they don't give me food, I want to be here. So that even if we know the right results are declared and he doesn't win, that is fine.
Do you think that if he goes on further to put this in, I mean some sugar or some honey in, by saying, look, those who are agitating that we don't want to be part of Nigeria any longer, I'll give you a referendum. We had David Cameron who did that, and because people to ask whether you want to be part of the Europe or you want to stay away, and that, I mean, brought about the majority that they got at the time. Now, do you think that if he should introduce that this time around, Peter Obi, saying that I'm going to give the Biafrans or the Igbo people the chance, the middle belt, the Yoruba people, I'm going to give you the chance. Let's go after you vote me. I'll give you a chance for a referendum. Let's see if you win. We can just go on or see a peaceful.
It's going to be a very, very big gamble, but something ought to be done. In my view, going that way, people are accusing of political. I mean, you are just
taking advantage.
Knowing that when you hold a referendum now, majority of the Yorubas a majority of Igbos are going to say we want to go. That's what is going to happen. What I think I will be opting for if I were him first is a national referendum.
Okay.
A promise that a new constitution will come to place.
Okay.
And that constitution will only come to place after a national dialogue.
Okay.
All, whether it's south east, south west, whatever. Look, this marriage is not working, but we still think that being together in our old age is better than being single.
Yeah.
And therefore, whether you are Yoruba or not, it will be better we come together. But how do we embark on that journey going forward? Within 12 months, I will institute what they call it, a system or probably a committee that will comprise Igbo leaders, Biafra leaders, every tribe, every this, every religion will be represented. They will be able to draft them. How do we want to first, where do we want to tackle? What are the issues that we want to discuss? And this should not be something that some Senate people wear long agbada and go and sit down to. It should be something, because they are going. It should be something that the youth actively get involved in. What do we want as Nigerians? Do we want to be together? Do we want to separate? If we are going to be together, what has led to these agitations? Can we tackle them? How are the resources shared? Can we come out with a different system that will work for all of us? I wouldn't be promising a referendum directly. I will be promising a way forward, how we unite, how we come together as the first option.
Okay.
As the first option, but a new constitution is a must.
Okay.
A new constitution for me, it is a must.
Well, listeners, if you are listening to us, we want to have your take on that. It's gone 8 minutes past 12. We're going to take a break, and once we come back, we'll continue with the show. But do you think Peter Obi's choice, message, campaigns, it should be like, hey, I'm going to be calling for a national dialogue, or I'm going to give you the option for you to have a referendum, those of you who want to leave. But Pastor Momo says only elders, but it said not only elders but youth also should play a prominent part in that sitting. Definitely, and that's what Frank was saying. Everybody, every stakeholder should be represented there, and I think that would be the bold step, the first one to be taken there.
Something is coming from Nigeria as well. There was an application that was put before court, and I think the APC people will be behind it. I mean, the story is not saying APC people, but I mean, from what I pick up, APC will be behind it. Lagos, because of Tinubu, seems to be like that's the area he thinks he controls the executives over there. And the application was to stop Peter Obi from holding its rally in Lagos on the 1st of October. It came out for hearing, but the court refused to grant that request. And the court said Labour Party, as a Nigerian party registered under the constitution, can hold its processions and rally anywhere in the state. So that movement will continue.
Okay. Well, let's see what the APC or whichever party, but we know for sure this, because the APC think that they are strong there. Would that actually sway voters there? We want to have your take on all the issues that is being discussed.
Actually, I tell you, the Peter Obi fever. I mean, Ghana, even in Ghana, I mean, wherever you go, Peter Obi. So what is happening? What is happening?
People are fed up.
He's not a young man that's 60 years.
60s. I think 61.
But he represents a different. But for me, I keep on saying, Archie, if I have a vote and Tinubu the only person, I will not vote for him, because the convoy I saw alone, that convoy that I saw him driving in,
candidate.
Oh Jesus Christ!
If he becomes a president,
I'll vote against.
We'll close the whole airspace for him.
If I don't have anyone today to be a protest vote, I'll spoil the ballot. I'm not campaigning for anyone. I'm saying that is what I saw. That convoy that I saw, no, unacceptable.
Well, he says the convoy speaks volumes of who his choice should be. But what do you think? We want to have your take there, and thank you very much for all the comments that are coming through. Feel free and continue to post your comments there, whether on any of the social media platforms that we are speaking on, we are transmitting on. But I'll be opening the lines just after this music going to be coming your way. And this one, a cover version of Bob Marley's song, "Chase Those Crazy Boy Heads Out of the Town." Enjoy it. I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
We're gonna just those crazy ballin' all them down. Just those crazy ballin' all them down. And I build a cabin, and I plant the corn. Did my people before me slave of this country? Now you look me with the scorn, and you will tip all my corn. You're gonna chase those crazy, just those crazy, just those crazy ballin', just those crazy ballin' all up down. Still if you stop, still stop, still I want to still if you bop it up, oh. Still your boat, still your bed pipe, still your bedroom, yeah. Build your penitentiary, we build your school. Brand was education to make us the fool. It is your reward for our love, telling us all what God's about. We're gonna chase those crazy, just those crazy, just those crazy ballin', just those crazy ballin' all up down. Here comes the gunman, coming with his gun plan. We won't take no bribe, we got to stay alive. We're gonna chase those crazy, just those crazy ballin', just those crazy ballin', just those crazy bumpin', just those crazy ballin' all up down. Hey, oh, yeah.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the
darkness.
The whole of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Star Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Welcome back to the program, Star Radio UK, 16 minutes past the top of the hour, the Thursday edition of the morning show. Yes, let me announce the lines open. You want to join in the conversation for free? It is 0208-133-2257 or 5802-081-33-2257 or 58. Now, if you happen to be in the US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, yes, it is 001-718 303-2737 001-718-303-2737. To text or WhatsApp us, it is 0753-966-1744 0753-966-1744. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. You got it. But you can put your comments on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, our Twitter, or any of the social media platforms that we are broadcasting on. And I promise you one thing for sure, that I'm gonna read that. Okay? Yeah. Now let's crack on. Let's move on to some other stories making the rounds across the globe. It doesn't matter if we discuss an issue and you think that you want, you have something else to say about that. For free, you can just come on and just make that statement. All right then. Now let's move on straight to Ghana as well. Now, UTAC and 3 other labor unions are threatening to go on strike on October 5th. Now, it says that 4 labor unions in the public universities in Ghana have issued a week ultimatum to the government to address outstanding condition of service or other proceed on strike on October the 5th. Now, the unions, namely the University Teachers Association, that's UTAC, Ghana Association of University Administrators, GAWUA, Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana, TEU Ghana, and the Senior Staff Association of University of Ghana, SSAUOG, want the government to settle their outstanding online teaching support allowances, the OTSA, and non-payroll allowances. Now, if you listen to all this, if you are a president, and especially when you see that the country's finances is in turmoil, you think, why am I going to get those monies to be given to you? Do you think that maybe the government has to come in, come to some agreement with them, or past agreements have not been fulfilled and they think that to hell with whatever you're going to say?
Yeah, actually, yes, is one would have expected that probably when you go, when you get to this situation, agreements will be the best thing. But look, this will not be the first agreement. When the country probably was not facing financial challenges, the agreements that we signed or what we agreed before, did we fulfill it? Did we fulfill them? Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Don't forget, they also need to feed their families.
Yeah.
And no one is taking care of them.
Yeah.
Okay. If government had in the past honored its promises, I don't think we'll get here.
Yeah.
I think wherever it gets to, even if it becomes difficult, agreements, so we do not have it now, can we agree that this, and we do? I think they'll agree. But because governments over the years have failed to honor their promises. Now, actually, if the economy is becoming difficult, they also live within the same country. Plantain in Accra is 5 cedis. That's if you live in Accra. Okay, 5 cedis. Kofi Brookman, 3 cedis. Actually, they have families. Transportation is so. How do they survive? How do they continue to contribute towards it? That's what I said. Look, if you asking the workers to tighten and fasten their seatbelts, then let us see that all across the board. We cannot have a situation where a presidential staffer use $10,000 to buy a ticket 24 hours to New York and back, and we know he's a presidential staffer, and you want
how did he get that money?
That's a question. We cannot be in the same country when we think that even those young people that we've just taught, by virtue of being presidential staffers, have amassed so much wealth. It means there's something going on within the power corridor. That a bodyguard has gone to build a multi-million-dollar hospital, a bodyguard to a president, within 4 years, 5 years. And I'm a professor, I've been here, and nothing. Yes, it's not everybody that will go and do certain jobs, but at least it means that only a few people are using the money. And that's why they also put pressure.
Yeah.
And those pressure will continue to come until the government decides to do the right thing. If there's money, pay them. But the money that comes, what do you use the money for?
Yeah.
Today, as we speak, the president's water is imported.
Oh, I see.
Oh, the president's drinking water is imported.
Oh, no wonder. No wonder.
The water they use, because I know the guy who imports that water. If you go to Marks and Spencer, you see the water in a bottle called, is it Voss something?
Yeah.
In that bottle.
Yeah.
That's what that's what they use at the presidency.
The one importing has got money. Some nice contract.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when people see that, what do you expect them to do? You've shown that, look, by the virtue of we being in power, we are better citizens, we are better people that must enjoy and benefit from all the privileges than all other people. I'll back them 24/7. I'll back the agitation 24. They should demand more 24/7.
Well, do you think it's a wise thing to do? Well, especially there are no funds, there are no means to settle whatever demands that these unions are demanding. Do you think that is a wise thing? Somebody said I had one cousin, he's died, Charles, and then he would say, when he say, Charles, look, you are owing me, give me my money back. He said, well, you know what, I can't give you unless you give it to me, then I can give it back to you. Well, maybe that's what government is going to say. No, we don't have the means to do that. But especially like Frank is saying, when some others are tightening their belts and they see people who are now, virtually they don't even need the belts at all because their tummy is so big that their trousers are not dropping. Then what do we do?
That's the situation we have now. That's a problem.
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Now let's move on to one other story as well, and that is impregnating the motives of judges is actually undermining integrity of the judiciary. Now this is a case where we had back in the day that documentary that was done by Anas, and we all saw evidence of people receiving various types of bribes to actually influence decisions or judgments that they were pronouncing. Now we had the hearing that went on, the election petition hearing that took place as well. In the glare of the public, we saw what took place there as well. Unanimous, what do you call unanimous 7 or unanimous 12, whichever they were. So now we got into that place, and now we have Judges and Magistrate Association coming to tell you that, you know what, stop that thing. When you come and sit here and you say that, me, I know that this thing you're going to rule in favor of Frank already. No, I know that I'm supposed to get that judgment. If you want respect, it must be earned. And like we were saying yesterday, I mean, what do they expect the public to do?
Who made that?
It's the Judges and Magistrates Association.
They are all sick. Actually, if I come to a chapel and we went and mixed Eba and Gary, and whilst we're doing that, the pastor decided to put a concoction in it, and therefore what we are eating or what we were fed was not Eba and Gary, was not Eba or Ayuyu or whatever, but some concoction somewhere. Now if I say it and as a direct result, Olayomi say that food I'll not eat in that church again. So I'm undermining the food, what the food will do to the body in that, and therefore influencing people's decision. Actually, you see, I listened to a video yesterday. It's an hour-long video, over an hour. I'll share with you privately. And a lawyer who Sasu, was actually having a one-on-one with Kofi on a kind of an interview, and then was opening up certain things that do happen within the judiciary. Archie, he went as far as virtually and almost accusing the Chief Justice. You know, he was suspended before. Where the Chief Justice, who is the head of all the judiciary, had to put himself on every committee right down to even the disciplinary committee that was actually
He wanted to come and investigate.
He was the chairman of that committee. The report will go to a committee that he's also the chairman of. That will also go to another council that he's the chairman of. Where have you heard this?
It might be the queen or the king.
No, actually, where on earth can this happen? Actually, there's a problem. I am the head of that to look at it.
Yeah.
The structures within the system that should deal with it, I am the chairman of it. Then they form a committee, I am the chairman of it. Then they delegated a 3-member committee, a path-finding committee. Then I
am there.
Do you think the report from the ground, when it comes to the next level where they're supposed to have a second view over it, I am the chairman of the first stop. That's why we have even the court system. We do have appeal courts, high courts, because when something happens at the district court, go to the magistrate court, you can go to the high court, you can go to the superior appeals court, and you can even go to the what they call the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah.
But here you actually follow through as a Supreme Court judge to the superior court, what they call the high court. You went to the appeal court, you went to the magistrate court. Now the district court too, you are the chairman. So the case came, they look at it at the district court, the person said no, I have to go to you are the chairman determining what happened at the district
so let's take it up.
Let's take it to the magistrate court, you are the judge again over there. Let's take it to the high court, you are the judge over there. Let's take it to the appeals, you are the judge. Now let's go, you are the what do you expect me to think? It doesn't make sense. Look, Ghana judiciary, Archie, I wasn't there. I wasn't old enough to know exactly what Jerry saw. But if what it is today
is what was pertaining at the time,
it's anything to go by, then I think Jerry might have been justified. Or probably he even didn't go far enough. No, I'm sorry. But actually, justice for sale. That is what is happening within us.
To the highest bidder. You have got the money, you get a justice.
I have a friend who happens to go. He went to Attorney General to go and seek something. The Attorney General himself was advising go and sue the state for 10 billion.
The state lawyer?
Oh yes. Go and sue the state for 10 billion and we know how to prosecute the case.
Wow. I will get some percentage.
But you see, the person is a different cut of fish. He doesn't want to get involved in that and therefore he did not go ahead. Archie, our judiciary is rotten to the core. We have armed robbers, we have criminals, we have pickpockets as members of the judiciary.
What do you expect?
The perception, they have to change what they are doing. If they want people to respect them, if they cannot think because they cannot say because they are judiciary and therefore
we have to respect them.
They operate like occults. Look at what will happen at law school. Leaking exam. Look at what will happen when people didn't even sit for exams but they were admitted.
You sat for it, you passed that,
and you're telling me we shouldn't complain, we shouldn't speak the truth. The mindset of people in Africa thinking that once we belong to, or we are lawyers, we are above the law, no one should speak to us. That's why Kate Hammond will go and say that stupid stuff that the youth do not respect today because of that. But I don't blame some of them. It's because the youth are not angry enough in Africa. If they were angry like the way the Arab Spring happened, probably by now the buttons will have reset. Actually, that's where it's gotten to. Me, I always say that's where it's gotten to. That's why we need to reset it. But the judiciary in Ghana is, oh God, if I'm going to go to court in Ghana, you're gonna trust your God to be the ultimate judge. But if you're going to rely on most of those people, forget it.
Well, if you're going to rely on most of those people, then forget it. It's 12:31, the time Star Radio UK, or call it 12:32, the time Star Radio UK, the Thursday edition of the morning show. This afternoon after the program, lots of music going to be coming your way. We're going to be having the property hour as well, and a lot's going to be coming. So don't even think of going anywhere. Yes, keep your dial so logged on Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. With me in the studio, Mr. Frank Davis. I'm Archie, and we're looking at some of the stories making the rounds. This time round, let's come to Africa, some other African country. Now, National Dialogue HR proposal for prolonged transition. The story says an internal commission at Chad's National Reconciliation Dialogue proposed on Wednesday, September 28, to extend the transition to election 2 years. Okay, let me type that again. My apologies. To extend the transition to office by 2 years. Keep the head of the military junta as the head of state, and then allow him to run for president at the ballot box. The Inclusive and Sovereign National Dialogue was launched on August 20, 16 months after the young General Mamat Idris Deby Itno, who was proclaimed president of the Republic by the army following the death of his father Idris Deby Itno. Now, at the head of the Military Transitional Council of 15 generals, he abrogated the constitution, dissolved parliament, and dismissed government, but immediately promised to return the civilians through free and democratic elections after transition of 18 months, renewable once. But now he's extending it to 2 years.
They've not finished what they are doing.
Now, interestingly, you talk about not finishing what they are doing, and that was the exact question that I wanted to find out when people have not finished with what they are doing. When we have people coming in saying that they coup d'etat and they all come in and stuff like that, they give a period. Now, you might have come in to overthrow a civilian government. Now, let me take a typical case of Mema, okay, where the military came in. Because if I take Africa wise, you say, okay, the military came in. They didn't have any facts per se, but they said, there's something going on, and they maybe come out with some evidence to say that this is what we were talking about, and they give a lengthy time. And that's the same thing happening in Sudan, which is causing the people to still agitate. Now, how long do you think people like that should be allowed?
Actually, what is happening is that Mali, eh?
Guinea, my apologies. Chad.
Chad. I think what is happening over there is unacceptable. I mean, without any excuse. There's no time that you can say you have finished what you wanted to do. So for me, it is a non-starter.
Okay.
I mean, it's a non-starter. I do believe the military should honor their promise to the people.
Okay.
Because the people that they made those promises to that 18 months of transition, we will revert the country back to its fully civilian government. And people would have been anticipating, people would have been waiting to see that happen, and then they take part in a democratic process. So for me, this is non-starter. It's not the best thing to look at. Actually, you ask why. I mean, the question then will follow is, why do people go this way? Actually, when they get there, the power becomes so, I don't know what.
Sweet.
I don't know. Actually, I've never had power like that before. But I don't know how. I've heard positions before, but I do not know what will push someone to want to hold on to power like that. Especially when the people don't want you. Well, this time we don't know whether the people want him or not. The only way we're going to test is through the ballot box.
And you know for sure that we're not going to be having any free and fair election as they are promising. It's going to be like a Russian next area election.
So, actually, what he is doing now is just going to give rise to a lot of agitation. That is a troubled area anyway. We must remember how the daddy died. The daddy was shot.
He went to the battlefront.
The daddy was killed by some people, and all linked to politics. So unless they are telling us that the military want to hold up power indefinitely until such a time they think it's time to, but don't promise us that 18 months we'll go for an election. Getting to 18 months, you pick the can, you kick it forward, you say let's start working. When we get to the can, you run, you kick it forward again. I do not think it's something that we should maybe accepting as a people, and we'll plead with him that look, you can still run as a president at this time, but don't do what, that's a trouble zone. Don't let it be an excuse for others to start striking.
Yeah. Okay, well, they went to Doha over the weekend to have some negotiations, some peace negotiations there. Well, I think our Arab friends are doing very well, because most of the time we have them going to those places. Maybe it's because the states seem to be more aligned to Islam.
Yeah.
And therefore, those people are able to call them to say, hey, let's see sense, a bit of sense there. Okay, it is Star Radio UK. Now let's move on straight to other parts of the world. Now, interestingly, Kamala Harris has gone to the DMZ, that demilitarized zone in Korea. Okay, the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has visited the militarized zone that divides both Koreas a day after the North fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles off its east coast. Now, the launch, which breaks UN sanctions, comes as the US and South Korea hold joint naval drills in the water around the Korean peninsula. The US officials also met South Korean leader Yoon Suk Yeol shortly after her arrival in the capital Seoul, but condemned Pyongyang's action. Now, a few months ago, we had Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan, and that brought about the anger of the Chinese, saying that, well, we don't want you to come there, as if you are recognizing them as a sovereign state, and therefore we know everything that is going on there. Do you think that the fact that she has appeared there, because we know in the past that the South Korean leader was doing everything, he was the one pushing and pushing for the North to come so that they talk. We remember when the North leader came to the south, and there was that. Did they come to the TMZ, or he came to the south itself? So we were looking at the prospect and having Donald Trump there, who was trying to see as if he was the one championing that cause. But for Kamala Harris to appear there, do you think that is what has infuriated them for them to go on that path?
Actually, it's all part of their geopolitics game that they're playing. The US, that's what they've done always. They have to show solidarity, or they have to tell Japan, they have to tell Korea that we are with you, because after Second World War there were agreements that they entered into with some of these people, that we will continue to protect you, we'll be your ally. That again took people's focus, or took these countries' focus away from embarking on full-scale militarization of their country, probably developing a lot of weapons. So if North Korea is firing ballistic missile, probably engagement with them has stopped, the US will want to be seen as saying, okay, look, we still hold your back, That is one way of looking at it. The other way you want to look at it is what is happening in Ukraine, because you look at Ukraine, you look at Pyongyang, which is North Korea, and then you look at China. They are all linked together. Now, the Ukraine one started, then we saw their incursion or their movement towards Taiwan. China was angry about it. Now we're looking at North Korea. So, you know, Iran will also come to play. They are happy now that Iran, there's a bit of chaos over there. So actually, it's all about control power, it's about geopolitics, it's about influencing, and it's all about the growth of capitalism. That's all it's about. That's all it's about. But we wish him all the best. We wish her all the best over there. She should return safely, but shouldn't go and make comments that are not that will not be welcomed by North Korea. Okay, no comments there. All right then, Starr Radio UK. Let's come straight to London, the UK, because we've got a few stories to be looked at. Household urged to read meters before price rise. The average annual household energy bill in the UK will rise from
2,971 to about 2,500 because the cap that government has put on it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that if you use more, you're not going to be paying more. That is something that is going on. People are thinking, they say whatever we use 2,500. Yeah. That is not it. Now, what advice will you give to our listeners around here?
See certain things that are necessary at your home and turn them off. That is number one. Now we're getting toward the winter. Put your fridges on probably halfway inside the food. They say.
Oh, okay. But our fridge has not got any remote anything to control. It's automatic. It just does.
Yeah, I mean they are automatic ones that will determine.
Okay. Okay. So we're not going to be getting anything from that.
So you're not getting anything. And there's one appliance that a lot of people are using that consumes a lot of power. The humidifier.
Oh yeah.
It consumes a lot of power. I will go for now. I'm even changing my bulbs, especially what do you call it, the common area. Most of my bulbs are not the sensor the sensor ones.
Oh, okay.
So that when I walk, you get there. That's where the light, because most of them we do forget our lights on. So my bulbs now, I mean, a lot of them, you walk, you get there before they come. So try to do whatever I can. Kettle, you don't boil water that you don't need.
Enough to use. That's it.
People fill the kettle up to the brim, and I will even say get a flask. If you can boil water and just put it there
in the flask,
put it in there. So those of us who take a lot of tea and coffee, we do that. Are you getting me? So at the end of the day, I mean, for people need to again double up their clothing instead of turning the heaters on too much.
I'm advised my household to go and buy onesie. I say, you like buy thick onesie and put on in the house.
We need to do, and then water bottles do help. Water bottles also do help. Now those who use electric blankets, they are killer.
Oh, thank you very much. I need to go and disconnect one.
So the other thing is there are now gauges that can tell you the consumption in your home, what is consuming more. But I mean, we have to just be more careful how we use stuff. Have to be more careful.
It's quite a challenge.
We know there are a lot of rice cooker and warmer. You cook it down, you warm it down. We leave it on sometimes slow cooker and I wouldn't do that now. I'll just cook and plug it, eat and go. I'm not going to do any fancy this and I'm warming slow cooker and all that. I don't want to do it.
We are cooking now. We are eating.
We're cooking now. I'm not going to plug it in. I'm coming to work. I put the soup on slow cooker and before I come it's ready. I'm not going to do that.
There's one that you do the setting. There's a new setting. So I want 1 hour before I get home. Start.
1 hour before I get home, that's fine. If you do that, that's fine. But before it starts,
it should be on standby.
It should be on standby. That standby is energy. So for me, I wouldn't do it now.
Well, if you are listening to us,
I wouldn't do it.
They don't do it. And those of you who have to read your meters, if you're not using a smart meter, please do so, because there was this story this morning. One lady was saying that she has a direct debit with it, but she's not got a smart meter, and they do that estimate, and they brought her this and that her direct debit was about £50 was going to be added to her direct debit, and he said, hey, let's look at it again. And then she read, and then because this challenging times, if you have anything, if you can even save a £5, there's £1.
There's one that they've increased it up to gas. They increase it up to about 150 a month gas. I say, hold on, you've been taking my money, I wouldn't mind you, but there's a time that is coming which I'm going to disconnect.
You're going to disconnect?
From October, I'm going to disconnect them. I'm even changing the supply in the first place anyway.
Okay. Now, barristers are still striking. But interestingly, they are saying that, they have to, now, if you want to go on a strike, I mean, the new rules now, you have to get all your members to sign that. I mean, so whether the union, the leaders of the union cannot go and say, look, people are going on strike without getting it.
It hasn't been passed into law. That's a proposal.
Okay.
So
I don't think it's a good thing. If you do that, that is up to you. Okay. Now let's come to one other story. We'll come to the Prime Minister. Now after she went into incubation, now she's out. Now former Bank of England Governor Mark Carney has accused the government of undercutting the UK's key economic institution. Now, Mr. Kani said that the government tax cutting measure were working at some cross purposes with the bank. He also pointed to a decision not to publish economic forecasts by the Office of the Budget Responsibility, that the OBR, alongside Friday's mini budget. The mini budget sparked turmoil on financial market and hit the pound. Investors had been demanding a much higher return to investing in the government bonds, causing some to halve in value. Now, pension funds which invest in bonds were forced to start selling, sparking fears of fresh market downturn. The Bank of England was forced yesterday to step in to calm the markets. Said it will buy 65 billion pounds of government bonds over the next fortnight in an attempt to restore stability. Now, do you think the number 10 can actually, decide what they want to do and then maybe shut Bank of Ghana up? Shut them up.
Where they are now is very difficult. I understand perfectly what number 10 wanted to do. What their objective was to get people to spend more, get more disposable income into people's pockets, get more money, let individuals have more money in their pocket if they are working, so that they can spend, and that will trigger a bit of growth. But you see, Archie, we said it over here that look, not allowing time-tested institutions to do their job will be seen as direct political interference, and that is not a good sign for the market. If you have allowed, let's say, the OBR, Office of Budget Responsibility, to be able to publish its report, it might not favor you, but at the end of the day, you've allowed them to do their job. That will send a bit of confidence to the market. But as it is now, a market analyst who depend on OBR reports to be able to do their forecast has now been shut out, because they don't have that report to be able to make a decision, an informed decision, because those reports are not just papers. People make informed investment decisions based on some of those forecasting reports. I get me. You have to justify an action. If I'm a fund manager and I have people's money with me, I need to be able to justify why I decided to place money on this bet. I'll be able to say this is Office of Budgetary. This is their forecast that this is going to happen, and therefore if I do A, B, C, D, I think will come out good. But now you've shut them out, and therefore you've made a statement. If I'm an investor or I am a fund manager, where do I get the information I need to make those information
decisions?
I don't know what Kwesi. He's a smart boy. I don't know what they were thinking of. Those the King James and other. I don't know what they were thinking of. Now there are calls to sack Kwesi. There are calls to sack Kwesi.
That's what I was going to say. Now, few conservative MPs are commenting publicly about Chancellor Kwesi Kwarteng's handling of the economic turmoil sparked by his mini budget, but they are not mincing their word in off-the-record conversation. Inept, humiliation, naive, reckless. There are some of the words.
And they are saying he should sack him, or they will trigger a vote of no confidence in the government. People are outraged. Are you getting me? They are rich. Yes, they are trying to calm the markets down, but as to whether it's going to work. Yesterday, the Bank of, and that is how banks also comes in. That's why sometimes when people compare our countries, Africa, Nigeria, to the West, some of these institutions, I laugh at them. You see what? Can Bank of Ghana, can Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian Central Bank, can they step in to do something like this?
No way. We don't have the means to do that.
Why? Because our monetary policies, our fiscal policies have been controlled by people.
Why? Let me digress a bit. Why do they control our? Is it because they don't trust us, or is it because what? We are not trustworthy to keep whatever, let's say the gold or something that will shore up our currencies, because we are not able to keep them? Is it what causes us?
Because we even value we value their currency more than our currency.
We call ourselves a sovereign state.
Yeah, but that depends on the degree of sovereignty. Are we at the SO or we've gone to the TY? So a lot of factors influence. Well, actually, our economies, like Kofi Ali will say, they are not countries. They are basically companies that have been created by these people to be able to. Libya was the one that was going that way.
Yeah.
China today is on its own, right? China is on its own to a point where one China, payment system has even been launched globally.
Okay.
Yeah, has even been launched globally. I mean, this Ukraine war saw Russia and China getting closer. That you can even use yuan to trade in Russia. We need to be able to do, more within Africa. Can I go to Nigeria and spend? They say the echo that they want to do with African. They say, what is it based on? Have we said, okay, Nigeria, I'll buy these tons of gold. I'm going to donate this, and then we use it as part of our to back the echo. We're not doing
Nothing
it.
of the sort.
The French are still in control of about 89% of the wealth from the French West African speaking countries. At the end of the day, Archie, we are their mercy. Our budgets are donor driven. That's why for me, I've always said I don't like IMF. I've never liked them, and I will never like them because they've never proven to be a good brother or sister when it comes to Africa.
They will come, they do everything.
They give you one hand, they take 10 hands.
Then you don't have anything then. But the calls by the Prime Minister, Prime Minister Liz Truss has defended last week's mini budget. She's gone on. Now she insists a plan to cut taxes and increase borrowing is the right one after days of market turmoil. Now growth won't happen overnight, she said, but the mini budget puts UK on a better trajectory for the long term. The pound has slammed, as we know. The Bank of England is buying the billions and blah 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 that has gone on there. Now she is of the view and sticking by it, because we had the Labour leader Keir Starmer calling the Prime Minister to call for them to call Parliament back to revert this mini. I thought no, they wouldn't do that. If they do that, that is political suicide. That's a big one.
That one they should forget is not going to happen. That one they should forget is not going to happen. You're telling them to call their budget. It's not going to happen.
But do you think, with every institution, all the big hooks are saying, no, this is wrong, this is wrong. All the experts are saying, this is wrong, this is not going to yield whatever. But they are still saying, let's continue. Let's go.
In the long run, what they're trying to do looks a bit of something that they think will help, because when you have more money, they've reduced from the 20p to 19p, means more money in your pocket. If you earn 150,000 and above, 12,000 more in your pocket. But you see, at the end of the day, if you look at those big hooks that are being given a lot of money, they do not spend much on the economy. They go on holidays and other airline would make more money and other things. Now the majority of the downtrodden could have cut tax for them more and keep the tax up there. Are you getting me? And then when you have means and you decide, because actually in my view, if they have not cut tax for the
rich,
cut tax for the poor, like the way probably 20 to
19
and do not forget, they are cutting the top by one. When you get past, I think 50 per every day, or 45, they are bringing it down by 5p. But the poor people is 1p. Is it?
We are poor. We don't have the money, so we take it. That's a lot. The top people who make the money.
If they have kept that, I think to have gone down well with people. That alone, because do not forget, they are also spending on energy. They are giving some, caps on energy, but for the intervention from the energy, so they are spending a bit of money on energy. So the other good things in that budget, but for me, borrowing at the same time, cutting tax for people who can afford, especially when surveys have shown that people are willing to pay more provided the money will go to good causes. I think that is where the problem is.
But when it comes to, the Bank of England saying, virtually threatening that, look, we're going to put interest rate up. Now, come next year, we're going to get to almost about 6% interest rate.
They want to stem inflation.
Yeah, so because the governor is saying that he wants to bring inflation to about 2%. Now, looking at that, it's affecting the property market straight on. Now, people are now, quick rain in their boots, because if the interest rate goes up, now how can I afford to pay
repossession is going to go up. The rich who have money,
that be buying
tax is being cut for them now, will have more disposable income to pick up more properties. Actually, this is a conservative, and this is a government that is very, very, very pro-rich.
Well, I think the only way out is to make yourself very rich. So let's get out there. Let's make ourselves.
I want someone to bring me some, Sudan dollars.
Sudan dollars. This might want to just be. I think we're using that as Chiro
or Zimbabwe dollars. You know.
Okay, listeners, we're going to be running up. Has there been any story that has caught your eye?
No, actually, not at all.
Okay, because we know that the Conservatives are going for their autumn conference as well. I don't know how it's all going to pan out for them, the two of them. That is, but I know Liz Truss was the one who was championing that cause, that I'm going to cut, and now they are not saying that Liz Truss, you have to go. There's a consequence. When the one who made the announcement, you have to be you might have to.
You carry the cross. You brought a cross. You gotta go, because they cannot phantom how they're going to carry on for another internal election. Because at the end of the day, the Conservatives know that where we are now, two things are likely to happen. If you trigger an internal election, the country will not accept it.
Yep.
It will be like, look, you people alone.
Yeah.
From David Cameron, resign. To who? Theresa May, resign. To Boris. To another person. They are saying, no, let's go for general election.
And they know that will cause them.
They know general election will basically shock them. So they are looking at that. How do we basically calm the waters down? Should we do a sacrificial lamb argument? Should we sacrifice Kwesi Kwarteng and then say new direction has come? But you know, Kwesi Kwarteng cannot submit that budget, that cabinet's approval.
No way.
King James and others were all part of
it.
So at the end of the day, actually, Kwesi Kwarteng might have to resign himself. But that will be at the mission failure. But I don't think he's going to. He believes in his policy. He believes that in the long term, the more disposable income people have, the better. But you see, the more disposable income people have now will result in inflation, and therefore interest rates will go up, which means that those lenders, people who have money, also makes money. That's it. So the rich, it's a budget for the rich.
Well, budget for the rich. That's where we end the whole program. Frank.
Actually, good afternoon. We'll see them tomorrow.
Okay, we'll see you all tomorrow, God willing. Hopefully, we should have our money man on. He will come and break some of the points that have been raised when it comes to your finances down for you. All right, and so on that note, Zonga Man is answering the question and asking at the same time. He said, where is the dollar?
Well, I have a statement from Feli. Feli say it was not a budget, it was an ideological statement of intent, guys.
That's what they believe in. The rich should be richer, the poor should be more and more poorer. All right then, but we hope that you know. Yes, Zongoman says, where is the dollar? It's going to show you where the dollar is. Have a wonderful day. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.